how you doing on this Monday, the 18th of August, 2014? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. Yes, speaking too fast. Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. And this is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. And lots of things are going on. What's happening in Ferguson, Missouri is just incredibly, I'm going to say, divided and also very unfortunate. Now, some of the witnesses, quote unquote, have said that he wasn't doing anything, blah, 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 and they're trying to yell racist, cop, this kind of thing. But other people have shown that, and other witnesses as well have shown that this person that was shot pretty much wanted, an altercation. And he got one. And he got the results of one against a cop. Now, riots and curfews and all this are happening only because of the fact that this is, bottom line, this is it. White cop, black teenager, black neighborhood, black people rioting against the whites. And, of course, there are good cops and there are bad cops. Some of the good cops are on the side of what is right, what is positive in all of this. And they're trying to, calm everything down. Hey, let's wait till the evidence comes in and all this. So there's those people. And mostly the whole thing has been blown out of proportion by the state-run media. And therefore, we get what we get. News programs dividing people by ideology. Because mostly on the ground, you will see that there are people trying to help, the police, and they're saying, hey, let's calm this down. Let's just bring it down. And some of them are saying, yeah, you're right. Let's, but this whole situation has been given over to the Missouri Highway Patrol. Okay, the state police. It's been handed over to them. Now, what's going to happen? I have no idea. I myself personally think that all the evidence needs to be presented on both sides of this situation, and then people need to make up their minds. But I'm saying, also, along with that, we need to calm this whole situation down. How do you do that? Well, you're not going to be able to do it in such a volatile situation that it is when you have a group of people, whether they be Asian, Mexican, black, white, whatever, whatever it is, saying, oh, it's a racist thing. You're never going to have peace. Why? Because you're always going to have the race card thrown into the mix. And this is what has happened here. Now, on the Views Express Live today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to talk about the militarization of law enforcement in the United States. And I really recommend that you come and listen to that show. You can go listen to it on freeamericaradio.us or on Spreaker.com and join me in the chat room and give me your 2 cents worth. That's the Views Express Live, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Free America Radio Network. I shall return right after this. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Views Express. Come join me Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com. For all you independent artists, musicians, and filmmakers, there is a place for you. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com.
Sharing the truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network.
Hey, this is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 18th of August, 2014. How are you on this Monday? I know it's Monday. It sucks, right? Anyway, let me, if you joined me at the top of the hour before the break, let me reiterate something to you. I am not prejudiced or racist at all, and never have been. I've got friends of every race, creed, and religion that you can think of, and we're fine. We can disagree. We can agree. We can have lunch. No big deal. This whole thing in Ferguson, Missouri has erupted into a huge dialogue in America about the militarization of law enforcement. Now, I'll get into more of that in detail on the Views Expressed live today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. But to give you a heads up, the Pentagon in 1994, might want to, I'm going to double check on that, but if I'm wrong, please let me know. They authorized the Pentagon themselves, the Washington, D.C., some of the politicians back then, including President Bill Clinton, authorized the Pentagon itself to distribute military style and type of equipment to law enforcement across the country. Now, I remember this, and I remember how I began to see certain things happening in California, and I began to watch very closely as to the increasing militarization of the law enforcement. I believe that is the standing army that our founding fathers talked about. You don't militarize law enforcement because you pretty much have a tyranny at that point. Look at Nazi Germany. Look at the early stages of the Soviet Union. Look at Iraq or Iran, and then in those places, such as Iran and places like that, you've got a religious base that doesn't give a crap about anybody else but themselves, and they'll kill anybody that gets in their way. So we have a volatile situation happening in Ferguson, Arizona, aside from and totally eliminating the religious side of it as well. But we have a problem. Just had to get some coffee, folks. We have a problem, and that problem is huge. The problem is basically ego. What? Yeah, ego. Somebody's going to go like, ego? What do you mean ego? That plays no part in this. Yes, it does. It plays a huge part in all of this. We have people of every race, creed, and background that says that they deserve everything they want, hence getting handouts instead of hand-ups, getting, freebies instead of free education and all of this. I mean, it goes without saying that when you get a group of people together that have the mentality of, I'm going to sit on my ass and do nothing, you've got a problem. And then they protest against other people who say, well, we're not going to pay for it. You get up off your ass and go find something to do, and then we'll try to figure something out after that. Well, that's a huge clash of ideologies. That's a huge clash of ideologies. And we have that going on in, not specifically that, I'm talking in general terms, but we have a situation in Ferguson, Arizona, and Missouri, and other places, including Arizona, California, Oregon, New York, Chicago, Illinois, that kind of thing, Michigan and Detroit. We have these situations going on that are volatile at the point of overinflated egos on both sides of the playing field. So we have that going on. Now, here are some specifics. Well, first of all, you have to look at the evidence, including cell phones from bystanders, the police reports, name it. In Ferguson, Missouri, name it. You have to look at it all. But because it was a white cop who shot a black kid, the neighborhood became unglued and riots and looting and all of that. Remember the LA riots after the Rodney King verdict? That goes back to there. Remember what happened in various parts, I can't, remember exactly in the last 20 years specifically, but this one's more recent. Ferguson, Missouri. But think about this. If it wasn't for overinflated egos and this entitlement mindset, you wouldn't have this. You wouldn't have this. Now, granted, over 92 million people are unemployed and are on Medicare or Medicaid or something, some sort of state, federal, subsistence, I should say, as far as housing or SNAP or EBT or, medical or whatever else. But no choice of their own. It was by no choice of their own that they had to do this because of the fact the economy sucks, because of the fact that Washington, D.C. decided, well, we're going to support NAFTA and GATT, and we're going to move all these jobs off of the, continent, and we're, it's a whole picture that you have to look at. And in the microcosm of Ferguson, Missouri, you're going to see people who are going to be, and I'm going to say this, very racist when it comes to white people on, in their neighborhoods. And that's a general statement. Now, let me specify this. Not all of them are bad. Not all whites, not all blacks, not all relationships between them are bad. It's just the incredible mind set, the double speak of the state-run media telling them that they have to be against one another. Why? Well, one, in a general statement, it makes news. Now, we have to look at some other things as well. We have to look at the factor at which this whole started. That after the tragedy happened, what happened after that? What caused the riots? After the tragic incident, what was the cause of the riots? We have to look at that. Let me give you another general statement. Yes, we all have free speech, but we don't have free speech. It's limited to in certain degrees because we can't go into a movie theater and yell fire. We just can't do that when there's no evidence to prove anything, that we're saying. So, what caused the riots? Okay? This is very simple and a very good question to answer, because once you figure that out, you can look at the whole situation after that and say, oh, this, and this was a result of, and this person and that group and this organization want to do this as a result of. But see, nobody's going to be that logical. Nobody's going to be that structural in their understanding of this. Or I should say, no one's going to understand any of this due to the structure and the nature of what happened, due to, insert whatever you want in there, because, now think about this one, because of ego. Had nothing to do with, well, it was tragic, and I pray and positive thoughts go out to the family of this young man that, met his tragic end. But what about the cop? What about him? How, from news reports, certain reports have said that he's torn up. He is literally torn to shreds emotionally because of this. Now, let me ask you all this. If somebody or a group of somebodies came into your neighborhood and started ripping it up and threatened you, what would you do? I'm not even going to go to the reports that I've gotten about the new Black Panthers or Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or any of that, because that is a whole ball game that is played by its own separate set of rules in society. Okay? They're the ones that are going to put fuel on the fire. So, I mean, don't even go there. Because the more you pay attention and the more you give that credence and the more you report on that, the longer of the 15 minutes of fame they're going to get. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse after that. My whole point is we need to look at the information, we need to examine the evidence, we need to zero in on the cause, aside from the tragedy itself, the cause of the riots. Okay? We need to look at that and find out specifically why. Okay? Why did it take, or why was it taken upon someone to start all of this? Now, I just watched not to go off on another example. Well, this is an example, but I'm going to use this in a different context. I just got done last night watching an older episode of X-Files, and it basically, there was a town, and the people said that the cause of this was, this thing and all that. And the town became hysterical. And when they found the truth, when they found the evidence to prove otherwise, they still considered that it was a problem of this. And in other words, the town became hysterical, the tragedy built upon lie, upon lie, upon lie, upon lie. And when they found the truth, they couldn't handle the truth. They didn't want the truth. They still identified the problem with this false identity of the problem itself. So basically, hysteria ruled instead of logic. Instead of accepting the truth and the facts and the evidence, they just said, okay, well, we have to do that. And we have to continue the narrative. That's what it was. And literally, this is what's happening now. Because the new Black Panthers, the Jesse Jacksons, the Al Sharptons, all of this, they're adding fuel to the fire because they don't want to accept the truth. They don't want to accept the facts. They don't want to accept the evidence. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. And I can say that over and over and over because they don't care. They want to set the narrative of black against white, white against black. They want to divide a society based upon race instead of bringing together humanity and saying, how can we stop this from happening in the future? And that, my friends, is what we need to do. Look at the evidence, examine everything, and then, go from there. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, even if you disagree with me, it's okay. Email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. I'll be on the Views Express live today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on freeamericaradio.us and on Spreaker.com. And you can go to Spreaker.com, scroll on down to the bottom, and get an app for your communication device that you have, and you can listen to the show on the go. So there we go. That's Spreaker.com, and look for Free America Radio Network, or go to freeamericaradio.us for more information. I shall return right after this. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Free America Radio Network, Come join me on the Views Expressed live, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, on freeamericaradio.us.
Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razorblade Express with Dave the Rave.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Ah, damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. Hey, welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pure Show podcast. How are you for the 18th of August, 2014? So anyway, long day on a Monday when you wake up early and have to research stuff, but well worth it. So anyway, I know most of you are probably listening to this in the archive, probably listening to this on the freeamericaradio.us website. So thank you. Appreciate that very much. Email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. More and more people are wanting to hear this show. But as a show note, I shouldn't say but, like there's something else. As a show note, Free America Radio Network is scaling back just a bit. We're going to revise and rebuild and recreate. So it's always good to take a few moments and a few days just to do that. So Free America Radio Network is scaling back, but moving forward. It's always good to move forward, always good to regroup, always good to get as much support as you can and all these things. And you can be a part of Free America Radio Network with your support, your donations, and also your sponsorships for this particular show and also for the Views Expressed Live. And if you have any questions whatsoever about advertising, you can either go to freeamericaradio.us and check out the sponsors page, and or go to thewaynesPierceshow.weebly.com and check out the sponsors page there as well. Or you can donate on either one of those sites. Just find the donate button and, hey, click on that as well. If you are into prepping and into preparing yourself for the inevitable or the just-in-case moments, you can go to freeamericaradio.us, go to the top of the page, click Emergency Food Supply, and get as much supplies as you need for your family and yourself. And in that, you'll be supporting Free America Radio Network as well. So thank you for your support. Anyway, onward and upward to bigger and better things. Give you a little preview of what's coming up on the views expressed live today. You can go to Free America Radio on Facebook, if you would, please. Thank you very much. Mises.org, MISES.org. Julie Borowski put this up. The intolerance behind Elizabeth Warren's 11 commandments of progressivism. She is a progressive. People want her in office. People want her as president. Let me tell you something. She is worse than as far as progressivism is concerned. She is worse than President Obama. Okay, I'm just letting you know. You might want to read that yourself. Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs, Rambo Biggs on Twitter, at Rambo Biggs on Twitter, says this is CS gas, not just smoke. My eyes are swollen. He tweeted this out during his time, as well as Jakari Jackson from Infowars.com down there in the Ferguson, Missouri area, within all of that, chaos going on down there. And he says that CNN, stop lying, you cowards. Do your job, tell the truth. There's pictures on Twitter, again, at Rambo Biggs on Twitter. Also from Anthony Heath, Mexico protests Texas National Guard troops on U.S. border. That's from Infowars.com. I want to say this to Mexico. Shut your damn pie hole. Do the right thing, get rid of your drug cartels, and stop, pissing us off. Okay? We wouldn't have troops on the damn border if you'd do your damn job, President Nieto. You don't like what I say? Get your head out of your ass and start doing what needs to be done for humanity. Okay? Oh, don't get me started. Holy crap. Yeah, the constitutional civilian militia is down there as well. Okay? A lot of that might be hype, but you might want to check that out yourself. The Mad Martian, Gary Legier, who is behind exposing Richard Hoagland's cover-up of the UFO Diaries Faces on Mars, He was on, I believe, Coast to Coast on October 22nd, 2011, and he says that George Norrie cut him off. There has been controversy upon incidents between George Norrie and Richard Hoagland. Not them, they're pretty good friends, but Gary Legier, who did research for Richard Hoagland for his information that he has put out about the UFO diaries and the faces on Mars. If you're into that, there's a video there as well for you to check out, but I would go ask Gary himself. The link there is right there in the post. And it's interesting, and here's a side note on that as well. Specifically around cover-ups, the government is never going to tell you what you want to know. Never, ever, 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 ever. That's why we have whistleblowers or quote-unquote leaks, pretty much. And now the federal government is trying to... The Supreme Court is going against Congress and is trying to support or somehow get Congress people on their side to shut down whistleblowers. This is in the Supreme Court, also within other areas of the judiciary. And now here we are, where we're dealing with a constant battle between the will of the people and the tyranny of the state. So that whole situation is going to explode in one massive freaking intellectual fireball at some point, and nobody's going to be safe. I don't care who you are, okay? It's just not going to look good in terms of cover-ups. And that's what the government's doing, is covering up everything. We want to know it. We want to know it now, and that's the way it is. Now, their argument is, well, what if the enemy gets a hold of the information? Have they not figured out that the enemy already has the information? So we need to do something on our end. So give us the information that we want to know so that we can protect ourselves and prepare ourselves for whatever may happen. I mean, that's logical, isn't it? So anyway, again, the Mad Martian on Coast to Coast on October 22nd, 2011. George Norrie cuts him off, and that's in regard to the UFO Diaries by Richard Hoagland and the Faces on Mars. So if you have any questions for Gary, his link is right there in the post. So thank you, Mr. Gary Legier. From Impeach Nancy Pelosi on Facebook, is it any wonder why people still believe the state-run media? This is happening all the time. Don't believe it. Well, it's not going to go away anytime soon. That's what I said. PrepperChimp.com. DHS is employing now get this. DHS is employing agent provocateurs and are behind the events in Ferguson. Yes, they are. Period. I'm not going to say it anymore. There's agent provocateurs. Our government is involved in staging all of this, putting all of this, the riots themselves. There had to be something, a catalyst that caused these riots. What was that? I asked that earlier. Aside from the tragedy that happened, what is the one thing that has caused these riots? Well, you may want to go back to the first segment and listen to what I had to say. I'm past my bottom of the hour break, but that's okay. We can go on from here. So, Free America Radio on Facebook is where I'm at. That is for the Free America Radio Network. From, let me look at this link, from dfw.cbslocal.com. Teenager made Corsicana, is that right? People in Texas, help me out. Corsicana Walmart his home. Did you hear about this one? A 14-year-old made a Corsicana Walmart his home, avoiding detection for 4 days as the boy scrounged the store for food, drink, and clothes. Yeah, not so safe, not so secure is that Walmart, right? USAtoday.com. I mentioned this on the show last week. Alberto Gonzalez, Obama's time for immigration action. Just a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on. I'll be posting more on Free America Radio on Facebook as the day goes on, and you are more than welcome to go there. And let me go into this direction before the break. I actually have seen, and this is with my own eyes, evidence proving that our government has staged many different things. Now, about 90% of what I've discovered was written about many, many years ago, was talked about many years ago by the late William Cooper and by Alex Jones and other people. And here's what I've seen with my own eyes. I've seen people look at the truth, look at the facts, staring them in the face, and they still deny it. They still want to deny the truth. They don't really care. They don't want it to affect their little world that they're in. Their football reality shows, beer and chips, and all of that. They don't care one bit about the truth and the facts. Now, that is why this show is sharing the truth one fact at a time. Because if you can't wrap your mind around the truth and the facts, then your mind is warped. I'm serious. If you cannot look at something and say, yes, that is what it is, and you want to deny whatever is happening or that incident or that situation and just walk away from it and say, it's not affecting me, then you got some serious problems. And the reality that you live is far from the reality that truly is. And the fantasies that you believe are directed by the narrative of the state-run media. So I don't want to hear anybody tell me how far out these conspiracy theories are, because they're all now, like I said, I've seen it with my own eyes, and within the last 25 to 30 years, every single time somebody comes up with quote-unquote conspiracy theory, doesn't take long before it's found out to be true. And the facts back it up. So I don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to hear anybody tell me that I'm wrong. I don't want to hear anybody tell me that Glenn Beck's a shill or Alex Jones is Bill Hicks and works for the government and works for Israel. I don't want to hear any of that because you don't have evidence to back it up. You don't have evidence to back it up. And what I mean by evidence is real simple. Canceled checks, documents, contracts, blah, 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 blah. Go down the line. Whatever you think you need as evidence, you better present it. If not, you better hit the door and have a nice day, because I don't want to hear anything you have to say. That's just the way it is. So that's my own personal rant on for my own personal view. And I feel, now this is my own personal feelings about what I just said. I understand completely that somebody's going to want to either deny the facts and the truth or come against me and start railing their accusations against me. I completely understand that. Why? Because when I was younger, I did the exact same thing. So I know the shoes you walk in. I know the information you gather. I know exactly where it comes from and what purpose you want it to be used for. So I don't want to hear anymore. You're done. You're out. Go have a nice day. Enjoy your beer and enjoy sitting around in your boxer shorts watching your ESPN. Okay? So anyway, let me go to break. It's going to be a little bit longer than usual, but not that long. So I shall be back right after this. Get your morning started with the Morning Brew on 92.6 The Blitz. Music from the 60s, 70s, and more. The Blitz 92.6. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com. Listen to the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. See that car in your rearview mirror? The driver wants to kill you. Don't take it personally. You just happen to be in the way. Now, with a gun in one hand and a steering wheel in the other, This distant runner-up in the human race feels empowered for the very first time. At least our boys finally found a purpose in life. Red Asphalt by Scott Cherney. Available at Amazon.com. Welcome, folks. Welcome back to the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. It's not going to be live today. I usually have a live show on Mondays at 12 noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. But like I said, Free America Radio Network is scaling back just a bit. So I put these podcasts up every once in a while and give you some commentaries, give you some views and all of that. And I hope you enjoy them. And if you do, please pass them on to other people who are patriotic and liberty-loving. And, of course, if you can support the show in any way whatsoever, please do. Go to freeamericaradio.us for more information about how to sponsor this show or the Views Expressed Live. Or if you want this show specifically, go to thewaynesPierceShow.weebly.com and you can donate as well to keep this show up and running. So thank you very much for your support. In this whole situation going on in Ferguson, Missouri, there's other places as well to consider that maybe be just as volatile and as, let's just say the state-run media is probably not reporting it. More than likely, because it's not big news. Because if you hear of an accident, or if you hear of somebody getting shot, or if you hear somebody, murder taking place, or, home invasion or whatever, you never get the race of the people involved. Except when there's a cop shooting someone else. You'll never ever hear of a Hispanic cop shooting a white guy. You'll never hear of an Asian cop shooting Hispanic. You'll never hear any of that. White guy. Doesn't matter. You won't hear it. But boy, you get a white cop shooting a black kid or a black man, the whole freaking city comes unglued. Why? Racism. And that's what the state-run media wants to push. All in all, that's what they want to push. They want to divide, okay? And the only unfortunate part, the only unfortunate part that I see in all of this is the general public. You being duped into believing that there's this narrative of, everything's happy and the kid was just an angel. No. You'll always, here's the point, you'll always get the divide. It's always going to be a division in the narrative because psychologists have already proven that if you tell a lie long enough, people are going to believe it's true. It's already been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. So if you're being duped into believing all of this bull crap from the state-run media, then where's your priorities at? When you look at the opposite end of that and you see where there's citizens there peacefully saying, no, we have to stop the riots, we have to stop all this, and they're siding with the police saying, we need to stop all of this, we need to look at the evidence. There's peaceful citizens saying, enough. And if you look at all the videos, you will see who is rioting. Okay? So you won't see any credible evidence proving otherwise. You'll always see the state-run media pushing the racist narrative that they want to use to divide and conquer this story. to push it to the point where, something happens, and they've done it. But you also have to look at the provocateurs that are within this whole situation happening. You got to look at what has been placed in the mix to continue the riots, to continue the narrative of the state-run media, to continue dividing people on the streets. You have to look at all of that. And if you don't, I don't know what you're looking at. The other thing I'm going to direct your attention to is our schools. I wanted to bring this up in the last segment, but I didn't. I wanted to finish my point. And what I want to direct your attention to is Common Core. Bottom line, we need to get education. We need to get government out of our education. We need to get the education process back in the hands of the parents, back in the hands of the students, back in the hands of the schools. We need to get rid of Common Core. We need to get rid of this one-size-fits-all educational doctrine that seems to be prevailing through our society today. We need to get rid of all of that. We need to get rid of all of it and bring it back down to the basics, okay? Back down to the basics, okay? How many of you were TAs in schools? How many of you were able to teach a class, you know what I mean, in high school? I remember those days, and let me tell you something. They were fine days, man. They were great because I had people there that knew what they were doing, and they taught me well. But now we don't have that. We have a system in our education system that creates, out of a room of 30 students or 35 or 40 students, we have an educational system which covers all of them and turns them into robots, okay? Biological androids believing whatever the system wants them to believe. Can you say 1984? I mean, this whole system has been screwed from the beginning, okay? And the facts are the facts. And if you cannot stand upon the facts, if you cannot bring that to the forefront of truth and show it for what it is, your priorities are definitely wrong. But again, that's my perspective. Now, I've had people tell me that, they ask me, why are you assuming that people are still asleep? Why do you presume that people are not awake? I know that the vast majority of the American people in this United States of America, somewhere in the vicinity of about 80 to 85%, are now on to this bullcrap coming out of Washington, D.C. They're now on to the president and seeing what he's doing, and they want him impeached, period. Congress has their hands tied, not because Harry Reid says the Republicans are stopping everything. No, because Harry Reid's a freaking, I was going to say a word, but I'm not going to. He's an ass, and you can add another word to that as well. But the thing is that the Democrats on that side of the aisle are pushing for stopping all of the patriotic movements against them on the Republican side. Oh, the Republicans are not innocent in this either. They are telling the patriots, oh yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that, and here's what we're doing in Congress, and here's what Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Mike Lee are doing, and it's all talk, folks. There is absolutely no action whatsoever. Okay? Whatsoever. All right? None. So they're both stalled. They're both there saying, yes, we're doing this, and they're not doing this. They're pointing fingers and yelling, and they don't care. They don't care about you and I. They never have and they never will. It doesn't seem to fit their narrative of, total and absolute tyranny. In other words, they don't want My point is, they don't want to bring the truth with the facts to the general public, because once they do that, they know that all hell is going to break loose, and we're going to rush Washington, D.C. and demand that they all leave, that they're all fired, that they can go away now. They can tell their corporate, wallets and the corporations that supply them with all the money and all of the toys and frills and all of that, and bill us for it. We're going to tell them to get the hell out of Washington, D.C. That's what they're afraid of. Okay? That's what they're afraid of. They cannot tell us the truth with the facts, because Washington, D.C., if they were to do that and tell us the truth and the facts, we'd get pissed. Like we're not already pissed. But we would get the torches, the pitchforks, the Humvees, we would get a bunch of people together and rush Washington, D.C. We would. It would be that cataclysmic. It would. I mean, I think it's even beyond what I can imagine. I can only imagine what you're imagining, and it's probably 10 times as worse. Okay? But who knows? This is why the state-run media is propagandizing. That's what they do. That's what they're good at. That's what they have to do, because that's what they're told to do. Okay? There is absolutely positively no truth in journalism when it comes to the state-run media. They don't really care. They have a script that was written for them, and it's on their teleprompter, and that's what they read. Your local, your national, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Now, some of the local stuff, okay, I'm going to say this. Some of the local stuff is true, but you've got to weed through it to see the actual facts behind it. The only people that really have come out that I see, other than InfoWars and Pete Santilli, Guerrilla Media Network, that has told the truth in all of this and what's behind it, and they show you what's happening instead of hiding it from you, and that's RT, Russian television. And a lot of that, yes, that's Vladimir Putin's channel. Might as well just say what it is. It's funded by the Russian government. But they're the ones that have been showing the truth. Go look at RT, go look at them. Go look at what they're putting out there. Some of the stuff I don't believe in, but they do good work. And some of the stuff I can disagree with, but most of it I can agree with, because it's like, hey, light bulb, light turns on, buy this switch, flick it to the on position, look, light is on. That's how simple they put it. Facts are facts, people. And we need to get down to the point of either accepting what is going on, no matter what color you are, no matter what political affiliations you have, no matter what religion you are. We have to come together as humanity, as a group, and say, how can we survive all of this? We need to put that in our minds right now, today, the 18th of August, 2014. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what political affiliation you have. We are part of a group called humanity, and we have to survive. How are we going to do that? Okay? I said it last week on the Views Express Live, that if there's people here in Reno, Nevada, where I broadcast from, if there's people here that want to go down to the border of Nevada, down, southern Nevada near Las Vegas and all of that, hey, let's go. Let's go. But remember that the illegal aliens coming over, from Central America, Mexico, whatever, the gangs, all of that are coming up in this direction, they're going to be armed in some way, shape, or form. So we have to protect ourselves. And in our inner cities, even in Detroit, I heard the police chief saying, not heard, but I've read the article that says that the police chief said people are going to have to arm themselves. The citizens are going to have to arm themselves because we can't do it anymore. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I read. Folks, it's getting down to the fact where we're going to have to do something to survive. I'm going to say, even in your own neighborhoods. I don't care if you live in California where basically they've banned every single gun on the face of the planet out of California. You arm yourself. Okay? I don't think they've banned all the guns. I think that they've overregulated so much as to how you can get a concealed carry permit that it's just not worth it anymore, and they jacked up the prices so high that you can't afford it. So California as a state is done. It is now part of the New World Order. California is finished. Nice places to visit. Great. Okay. I'll give my money because, I was born and raised in California. I used to live there. But California politically is done. Okay? Done. All right? They need to revamp that whole thing, rewrite their constitution, and say, we the people control this state. The politicians don't. That's bottom line. Same thing with Nevada. Same thing with any other state in the union. We control this state, not the feds. We the people will put these other people, hopefully, as leaders in to do what we need them to do, and that is protect us, help us, in business, do what we need to do, and live and survive. I don't know what else we can do, folks, but that's up to you. That's up to you. Are you a business owner? If you have a small business, hey, I'll advertise you. And it's not going to break your budget, folks. It's not. Go to Free America Radio Network to the sponsors page, freeamericaradio.us, freeamericaradio.us. Go to the sponsors page right there at the top of the screen, and it's not going to break your budget, folks. You can even send me, as a matter of fact, for what I'm charging for advertising, send me a graphic and I'll put it on the website for free. Okay? That's all you got to do. Or if you can't do that, that's okay too. You can donate. I do accept Bitcoin. You can donate if you'd like. That's fine. Great. Love it. So anyway, yes, I will support you if you support me. Got to be patriotic, got to love the Constitution, and got to love America, and that's the way it is. Because as I say at the end of the Views Express Live, we the people have the power, for we are America, and that is true. You and I, in part of this group called humanity, regardless of color, religion, political affiliation, we are America. We can take this country back from the tyrants that currently control it out of Washington, D.C. And by the way, here's an idea that you might want to push on your so-called leaders in your local areas. Get all corporate money out of politics. Get all corporate contributions out of politics. Okay? You start putting corporate money in politics, you're going to get corruption and you're going to get tyranny later on. Prime example, is what's happening now. So anyway, yeah, if you want to be a part of the Free America Radio Network, please ask. All you got to do is ask. You'll never know unless you do. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. You can go to freeamericaradio.us for more information. Or you can go to the website of this show, the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com. The Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. No question is off limits. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. It's that simple, folks. freeamericaradio.us, freeamericaradio@usa.com, or the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com. In the meantime, folks, come join me on the Views Express Live today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network on Spreaker.com, and also at the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com and freeamericaradio.us. Talk to you later.